John Halloran, and I'm glad that Professor Graham was evangelical, because I'm here as an evangelist today too. My whipping boy is population thinking, and I want to present today about what we can learn about the treatment of populations as an empirical subject. I want to consider populations and ecology as both a theoretical and a methodological approach. I'll illustrate this using the structure of dynamic systems in foster care. Foster care is often colloquially referred to as a system, but in an empirical sense, what does it mean that it's a system? Foster care is an intervention in child maltreatment where children are removed from the care of their parents and placed in substitute care. On any given day in the United States, there are about 400,000 children in foster care throughout devolved state and county systems. The state's decision to place a child in foster care and later to release that child is in theory an individual one, based on the individual facts and circumstances of the child and family. It is unsurprising then that most research takes place at that individual and family risk and resilience level. However, these seemingly individual decisions are embedded in a context, including an organizational context of the decision maker. This is where the empirical conception of system comes into play. To what degree do features of that system, external to or emergent from the individual facts and circumstances, determine the trajectory of foster care placement? A basic systems constraint is the population itself. The approximately 400,000 children in foster care is population, right? Populations can also be defined at other levels, such as states and counties. There are about 700 kids entering and exiting a population on any given day, right? The population is dynamic. The processes of entry and exit are central to the study of population dynamics. What are the links between entries and exits? Like ecology, much community-focused social science research deals with populations of some kind. Conceptualizing a population as a separate empirical subject, not simply as an aggregation of individual level characteristics, but as an entity with irreducible traits, may open new avenues to supplement individual level inquiry. Attending to population level distinctions may explain observed variance at the individual level that individual characteristics themselves cannot explain. What are features of a population, for example, that may increase the probability of foster care entry or decrease the probability of foster care exit? The field of ecology identifies resource constraints as a critical point of understanding for systems behavior. Within ecology, the organization of resources drives population dynamics. Population structure is predictive. In some cases, it's predictive without even needing to know what the resources themselves are. Ooh, equation. The partial adjustment growth model there views population growth as a coupled dynamic interaction between entries and exits governed by rate and equilibrium parameters. These are idiosyncratic characteristics of individual populations, right? To what degree are entries and exits linked, okay? Do they obey the same population level rules, right? If it's possible, you can parameterize these processes. But for many of us, including me, right, we work in systems where we can't see the observed parameters. Population theory provides an answer. Constraints, capacity, rate, equilibrium, all of these things can become an attractor around which entry and exit behavior can orbit, right? Like a black hole, where you can observe the gravity and see the existence of the black hole. You might be able to understand population processes simply by looking at entries and exits. Applying a dynamic nonlinear analysis technique to predict whether foster care entries and exits lie on the same manifold, right? My study of 6 counties in Washington state found compelling evidence for the idea that weak level entry-exit dynamics have a causal effect on population structure over time. Entries cause exits, exits cause entries. That is, there's a clear dependence between the number of entries on one week and the number of exits in a subsequent week. How strong is this effect? It's not overwhelming, but, right, if we're supposed to be making these decisions based on individual characteristics, and we're getting these population effects, that's a big deal. And this is why the treatment of populations is so critical. If population level dynamics are structuring or constraining individual level decision making, then we need an empirical focus on the populations themselves. What is creating the interference? How do we resolve it? If population structures are irreducible from population level, then without an empirical focus on that population,